Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com. It is your email question line for this or any other watch. Ask us about pricing. tmosso@the1916company.com. Today, we are discussing what might be the finest automatic watch that you can buy. From the underrated Laurent Ferrier, this is the Galet Micro Rotor. The watch is still sold today as the classic Micro Rotor, but this example was sold in 2016 under the original nomenclature. It is stainless steel and 40 millimeters in diameter, 11.3 millimeters thick, from lug tip to lug tip, 47 millimeters, with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Because it is steel and sapphire primarily, it's a fairly light watch on the wrist and quite comfortable. Easily slides under a dress cuff. You see it's fairly thin but also sloped in profile. Being only 47 millimeters lug to lug, you can see the end of the lug on each side, not near the edge of my wrist. So I can recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference. Again, my wrist is 16. The strap is high grade, large rectangular, symmetrical scale alligator leather, always indicative of a very fine cut of the animal. Semi-gloss, black, it has a monotone stitch, a folded edge, and then on the bottom, Alcantara, a super premium and very expensive synthetic suede designed to remind you that Laurent Ferrier, the man, not the brand, was once an accomplished race car driver in addition to being a watchmaker, and Alcantara is a material inextricably linked to motorsports. We have this wonderful fluid, almost organic shaped pin buckle that has the Ferrier signature on the bottom, and you can see it is indeed steel. A lovely galet, or smoothed pebble shape, smoothed like a small stone at the bottom of a babbling brook for eons. Well, there are character lines here. Every single crease is of the soft crease variety. The only hard and fast lines are really the interior profiles of the lugs. Taking a look at the crown, it is, of course, in the fashion of the pocket watches that enchant and fascinate Laurent Ferrier, and in vintage fashion we have the onion-style profile and also the modesty of an unsigned crown. We have a little bit of a teardrop undertuck to the end profile of these tapering lugs, and then domed bezel abutting a dramatically cambered sapphire. The dial is black, but the hands and the applied radially arrayed Roman numerals, the hands and the numerals are all blackened white gold. So you can see we have a watchmaker's for here, a quirk of many watchmaking dials that use Roman numerals. We also have what are called assegai hands, or spear-shaped hands, which are long, fine, and polished. We have a sub-seconds display that is countersunk into the dial with a concentric pattern. One of the best movements in the business. Now, one feature that comes with this watch that is not universal on these, but does come with this exact one that I'm holding in my hand, it is a French Besançon Observatory chronometer certificate with the extended timing card included. So this is a French Besançon Observatory chronometer. It uses the same ISO 3159 standard as the Swiss COSC, but the French standard is a test of a fully assembled watch, not a bare movement, so it is considered to be a little bit more exhaustive and definitive. Taking a look at the movement, we have a 22-karat micro rotor that uses a micro pawl system and a jeweled staff to produce the smoothest and quietest winding action I've ever encountered. We have a single barrel, but it gives you 3 days of power reserve, 72 hours. The beat rate is 21,600 vibrations per hour. We have a 6-position adjusted balance, one more than a standard chronometer, that is also free-sprung for precise setting and shock resistance, and includes an overcoil hairspring, which I believe is made by Precision Engineering, a subsidiary of Moser. And so this is a very precise timekeeper before we get into the two nickel phosphorus escape wheels. Now you can see they have these little crenellated towers on their edge. There's one here and then there's one just above it that you can't quite see. There is no Swiss lever here. There are those two wheels, and like the Breguet natural escapement that inspired this system, each wheel directly impulses the roller jewel of the balance, so there's no lever. And that reduces the mass, reduces the friction, improves the efficiency, extends the power reserve. It's one of the reasons a single barrel here, and a small barrel at that, can get you 3 days of power reserve. So this reduces friction, improves timekeeping, and extends power reserve, but it also reduces maintenance requirements. And it is a natural escapement. If you look carefully, you can see a little purple object in there. That locks the wheel that is not currently impulsing the balance. Remember, each wheel impulses the balance only in the balance's direction of travel. 35 joules. You can see we have incredible bevels here that are among the finest in the business. Now, Laurent Ferrier is openly an établisseur, which is what Vacheron was for most of its first quarter millennium, a super high-end brand that quarterbacks the design of the watch, buys the parts from the best suppliers in the business, and then assembles, finishes, and regulates the watch in-house, though not necessarily in that order: finishing, and then assembly, and then regulation. You can see the finishing's incredible. The stripes are gorgeous and perfectly aligned across the bridges. The bevels are truly blinding and a mile wide. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 interior angles where bevels meet in the crease on the bridges, and then we have 4 more interior angles on the skeletonized and internally beveled and mirror polished steel half bridge for the balance. You can see that all of the jewel sinks have also been polished with a partridge eye treatment. We have polishing and beveling on the steel bridge for the lathe cut mass. There's engine turning on the base plate. All screw heads are black polished on their top so that they turn black from all angles except the one reflective angle. That's what black polish is. And you can see the engine turning on the base plate is of several different sizes. So there's great attention to detail here. If you look at the center wheel right there, you can see that it has been internally beveled, a feat that even many Geneva hallmark movements do not exhibit. There is a lot to love here. Snapback case, 30 meters water resistant, so not an aquatic timepiece, but in every other regard, what a monster. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.